One of the men accused in the death of a former SLU volleyball player is expected to plead guilty today.
Others grieve.
Why are there people out there like that? I know there's people out there like that, but why do they go after little kids?
The mother of a 10-year-old girl who was kidnapped and killed this week speaking out for the very first time.
And breaking overnight, hazmat teams called out to the Bank of America building in downtown St. Louis.
Thousands are still without power in Missouri and Illinois when Ameren, Missouri says power could be restored.
You're watching News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Good morning to you. We've made it to Friday. It's February 21st. I'm Pat McGonigal.
And I'm Jennifer Blome. Thank you for starting your morning early with us.
We do have some breaking news to get to right out of the gate here. Hazmat teams were called out to the Bank of America building in downtown St. Louis.
We have video shot just after midnight, and here is what we know. An employee opened a package at the bank. After opening that package, a white substance spilled out. Police were called to the building. Officials secured the building and found that the substance was non-hazardous. Workers were allowed to return to the building shortly before 2 o'clock this morning. Scott?
Scary scene, though, when you walk in and you see all those flashing lights and everything going on, and you kind of just don't know what's happening. Right now, we're talking about temperatures around the St. Louis area that have backed off into the 30s. We still have the gusty winds, not to the extent that we saw yesterday. And right along the metro area, northern sides of the metro area, and to the north, we have some clouds passing by. They'll scoot on out. The rest of the day looks pretty bright. A lot of sunshine on the way. It'll still be breezy today, but not as windy as yesterday. Having said that, because we had such strong winds yesterday, that may have loosened a few branches. And with wind gusts still 35 to 40 miles per hour, it's not out of the question that a few more branches might topple down today. 49 degrees at noon, 53 for the drive home. We're in the mid-50s for highs again this afternoon. Winds will diminish some heading into tonight. Let's find out what's going on those roads this morning at 2 minutes after 5 o'clock. Sarah, any issues out there?
The wind that we're going to see on some of our first alert traffic cameras. So that is a nice start, right? Well, 270 and 4064, you can see we're starting to see some volume build here just a bit if you're traveling northbound. A bit further south, 255 and Telegraph, you are in great shape there. It is calm and quiet. So if you're coming across the river there from maybe Route 3 or so coming up near Tesson Ferry, you're in pretty decent shape as well. Same situation for the chain of rocks, but man, look at that wind. It is just whipping through the area right now. So keep that in mind, especially if you have plans to travel further east where some of these storms are moving that direction. Out towards the split 4061, we're in great shape as well. Accident free right now. So keep that in mind as you head out the door this morning.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sarah. Well, a major development in a local high-profile murder.
Many of you remember the name Megan Boken. The former SLU volleyball player was shot to death in 2012 during a robbery in the Central West End.
One of the men charged in her death is scheduled to plead guilty today. Ryan Dean is live in the Central West End with this story. Ryan?
Well, Megan Boken was found dead in her car back in August of 2012, right near this intersection here. And I'm telling you, you can see some of the memorial that some people have made here to Megan Boken. We are at the intersection of North Taylor and Maryland. Now, prosecutors said two men came to the Central West End back in August of 2012 to rob someone, and they targeted Boken because she was talking on her cell phone. 20-year-old Jonathan Perkins is scheduled to plead guilty to the role he played. Police say he was the getaway driver for the crime. Now, the trigger man, Keith Esters, pleaded guilty in November. He's serving a life sentence in prison. Megan Boken of Wheaton, Illinois, was a recent SLU graduate and played on the volleyball team. On the day she was killed, she was in town to play in an alumni volleyball game. Now, we're told that Boken's family will be here from Chicago today and will be in court to give victim statements. That is the very latest. I'm Ryan Dean, News Channel 5.
She's fine.
She's fine.
In heaven with angel wings.
It is a parent's worst nightmare, the death of a child.
This morning, for the first time, the mother of 10-year-old Haley Owens is speaking out about Haley's death.
Now, meanwhile, the man accused of killing the little girl will have his first court appearance later today.
Nicole Burley's in the Breaking News Center with more from Haley's mother, plus what we can expect today in court. Nicole?
Yeah, we begin with the latest on the man accused of killing Haley Owens. 45-year-old Craig Michael Wood was scheduled to appear in court yesterday, but that was postponed till today. This will be the middle school football coach's first court appearance. Wood is charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and armed criminal action for the shooting death of fourth grader Haley Owens. Police say she was snatched off the street in Springfield, Missouri, just blocks from her home. Several neighbors tried to rescue her but couldn't catch up to the suspect on foot or by car. And meanwhile, Haley's mother, Stacy, still struggling to understand what happened to her daughter.
I ask myself why every day. And, I'm not even in the mood to talk on the phone. My husband's doing the talking for me. I woke up this morning I broke down. I couldn't hold it.
Well, today's preliminary hearing for what has been set for 8:30 this morning. For what happens in court, make sure to tune into News Channel 5 at noon. That's the very latest on the murder of Haley Owens. Back to you.
Well, prostitutes and sex trafficking victims in St. Louis will soon have a unique place to escape the streets. It is a place called the Magdalene House. A woman named Christine McDonald says she wishes it had been around when she needed it. She ran away from an abusive mother and then ended up living on the streets.
Knocked me out through hitting me in the head and just cut me with a box knife. After he had brutally raped me, I've been held at a gunpoint to dig my own shallow grave. And as he's covering me up with dirt, I'd been deprived food, deprived sleep, locked in basements, locked in closets.
Christine is blind and a single mom. She wrote a book about her life called Cry Purple, which you can buy on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And she tells her story to help other prostitutes get off the street. She is an advocate for Magdalene House, which should be built by the fall.
It is 5:07 right now.
Ameren crews are busy dealing with major power outages this morning.
Thousands are still without power. How long this is going to last?
And that's with Ameren. There are many areas, probably with some of the cooperatives, the electric cooperatives, that are also without power this morning. They're working to get that back on, too. The winds are still gusty. They will let up some as this Friday progresses. Well, this morning's 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. It is Friday. We have made it to Friday. I guess yesterday afternoon, some of us warning about that when those storms were rolling through the area, plus the gusty winds behind that cold front. The winds were gusting yesterday, 60 to 65 miles per hour, pretty common across the metro area. 35 this morning in Ladue, as well as Wildwood. Eureka's down to 37 degrees. We've dropped to 36 in Belleville, as well as Edwardsville this morning, and your 35 in Alton. We're talking about temperatures in the low to mid 30s heading out the door at the bus stop this morning. Yes, wind chills will be in the 20s because we still have the breeze, but lots of sunshine's on the way today. 49 at noon, 55 at 3 o'clock. Still breezy, but not as windy as yesterday. Let's find out what's going on the roads this morning. Andy Broadway is our commuter dude du jour. Hey, Andy B., how's it going out there?
It's going great, Scott. First thing you will notice this morning when you go out the door is the wind, as you were saying. If you're heading up from Valley Park, setting up 44, you won't have a problem this morning. Traffic's moving at the speed limit, and same as 55 north. Right now, if you look at my camera, you'll see a live picture. I'm on 44 east, almost to 70 west. Same thing, not much traffic this morning. That's a live look from my dash cam. I'm Andy Broadway for News Channel 5.
All right, Andy. Well, you said it. No matter where you were yesterday, you felt that severe weather moving through our area. And this morning, thousands are still without power.
Nicole is here with the latest on what's happening to restore the power and some video from yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to go ahead and start from heavy winds to possible tornadoes yesterday. We really saw it all. We'll begin in St. Peters, Missouri, where thousands still without power this morning. We found Ameren crews working hard to restore power in that area. Meanwhile, in downtown St. Louis, construction equipment picked up and tossed near the old cathedral. Workers spent the early evening hours picking up debris, but thankfully there are no reports of major damage. And check out this video from Arnold, Missouri, where heavy winds ripped off the roof of the Knights of Columbus Hall. 4 people working in an office above the hall when that storm came through. They took cover under their desks. Thankfully, again, no one was hurt. And we have some dramatic video of what appears to be 2 tornadoes in Illinois. Check that out. Storm chasers captured this video as storms moved through the area. The twisters were spotted in the Chapin area. That's in Morgan County near Jacksonville. Well, yesterday's storm is a prime example of how Ameren, Missouri deals with severe weather and power outages. And News Channel 5's Dana Dean is live from Florissant, where Ameren, Missouri plans to hold a news conference on what their crews are doing to prevent power outages from happening during severe weather. Good morning, Dana.
Nicole, later this morning, Ameren, Missouri will be here in Florissant to talk about the existing power outages and also to replace 6 utility poles. I want to show you one of them right here in Florissant that snapped during the high wind. So crews will be replacing that. Now, Florissant, not the only place without power this morning. I want to show you video from St. Peter's from yesterday where high winds caused branches and power lines to fall. Currently, 8,000 people, about 8,000 without power on the Missouri side, 1,500 people without power on the Illinois side. Ameren, Missouri says more than 43,000 customers were affected at the peak of the outages. Many were restored last night, but outages will remain through today. And Ameren, Missouri said they had 800 workers trying to restore power throughout Missouri. So it's pretty windy here in Florissant. We'll be checking back in with you in the next half hour. Back to you.
All right, that is Dana Dean reporting live on all those power outages. And there's a big warning this morning for people who live near Brennan Woods Elementary in High Ridge. The principal says a young couple is going door to door around there, saying a 4th grader has a brain tumor and needs money to pay for the medical bills. Now, a lot of kind-hearted people gave generously, but listen to this. The principal at the school says this whole thing is a scam. If this couple approaches you, you are asked to call the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department immediately.
And Normandy parents are reassured schools in the district will remain open through the end of the year. Missouri's Education Commissioner sent a letter out yesterday saying the state will work with the district to make sure the school year is completed with minimal disruption. Normandy administrators warn they could run out of money by April. That's because the unaccredited district is covering the tuition and transportation costs for students transferring to accredited schools.
Right now it is 5:14 and a big shakeup at Schnucks.
Plus a local company hoping to make a name for itself in the 2016 Summer Olympics.
This morning in St. Louis, that flag's still flapping in the breeze. Boy, do we have some gusty winds, especially as you go north of St. Louis.
The latest edition of the St. Louis Business Journal is out this morning, and I'm here with editor Patricia Miller. We're actually at the Culinaria downtown. And Patricia, it sounds like there's some new leadership at Schnucks.
Yes, the new leadership is Todd Schnuck. He is the youngest of the Schnuck brothers, and he's the latest. He'll be taking over the helm of Schnucks, a $2.6 billion family grocery, starting next month. And he sat down with us for an interview, and it's a fascinating story. He originally trained as an investment banker and then came back to the company and has been here for years and groomed to be CEO. And he takes the helm at a time of unprecedented competition moving into the St. Louis market, which is not really growing in population. So he's got a big challenge ahead of him in terms of the Aldis and the Whole Foods that are expanding, of course the Walmarts of the world that also offer foods, and then we have all these organic specialty groceries that are moving into St. Louis as well. His strategy is to grow the business, and analysts expect there will be some acquisitions in the future, but also that he is customizing each store to meet the demands of that particular marketplace. So for example, Schnucks Ladue Crossing, which is in an area that has a lot of Orthodox Jewish people, they offer a lot of kosher foods, and they've increased those offerings because that's what the neighborhood demands.
Right.
And we'll see more of that under Todd's leadership. So you can read all about it in the family business and how they managed to survive 3 generations.
And it also sounds like there's a local company gearing up for the 2016 Summer Olympics.
Yes, this is a really cool story we had in the paper this week. It's called Tri-Flare, and they have a swimming suit that is, they've done a deal. They offer swimsuit and other athletic apparel, and they have a deal with the U.S. synchronized swimming team, and they're going to be outfitting them through 2017. So they'll be wearing these suits in the Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, and these suits are really cool. They're high performance, but also very high design, so you got to be sure and check out this week's paper.
Awesome. Now just give us a little teaser for what's coming up in the next hour.
Oh, we're going to play with some toys. You'll be interested to see the latest offering from the makers of Zuzu Pets.
Oh, wow.
I want one.
I know, I'm sold already.
Somehow I'm seeing that as being on the Christmas list, you know. You better get it now.
Zuzu Pets were right up there in 2009, too.
You know, you could also use that for one of those projects, you know, in your science class where you have to start a thing. And so you can have the Zuzu Pet zip it along and go it along, knock something else over, and eventually drop something.
Like a Rube Goldberg deal.
Rube Goldberg thing, yeah. We just went through that. All right, let's show you what's going on. Right now, we are talking about those wind gusts across the area, and look at this from yesterday. Up at Smartfield in St. Charles, 67-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and some of these were within the thunderstorms. A lot of them not a part of the thunderstorms, just the wind associated with this massive storm system that swept through the region. Officially, Lambert at 62 miles per hour, Litchfield a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. Couple of reports of tornadoes, one in Effingham County near Shumway and another one that was over not too far, about 6 miles south of Nokomis, and also up in Pike County in Illinois. There were 13 reports in Illinois yesterday. Temperatures have dropped back into the 30s, but we still have a wind out there. And so wind chills are in the 20s for most of us, with teens to the north and west. Now, it's still going to be a fairly mild day. We're not looking at 70s today. We hit 73 yesterday. We're talking mid-50s this afternoon, about 56 for the high in St. Louis. Should be 44 by 10 o'clock, 49 at noon. Even though we have some clouds north and northeast of St. Louis right now, they're going to lift away. Blizzard conditions continue up here across parts of Iowa, Minnesota, heading into Wisconsin. The snow being whipped around by winds more than 50 miles per hour, all those strong winds we were dealing with. Here's your forecast heading into the weekend. Think that there's not going to be a whole lot of sunshine for much of the weekend, especially as we head into later tomorrow. Tomorrow night and into Sunday, there could even be a little bit of light rain and then maybe a little bit of snow, but we say a little bit. It should not be a big deal. 56 today, 54, 39 by Sunday. And we're in the 30s next week until Thursday when, Bree, we're only in the 20s at that point.
25.
Yeah. Definitely.
What happened?
It is 5:21. Scandal at the Olympics.
Big controversy this morning over those scores from last night's figure skating finale.
How will the weather affect today's Olympic competition? Here's an update sponsored by CarMax.
And it looks like they're contending with some scattered showers around today. Not big widespread rain, but a little soggy for the folks in Sochi. Temperatures one more time hovering right around that 50-degree mark. And if you can believe it, tonight they're actually going to be in the 30s. Maybe feeling like winter at the Winter Olympics. 39 with clear skies tonight, but then they bump back up to mid-50s tomorrow with those clouds increasing.
This is your Daily Rewind, sponsored by Blue Chip Pest Services.
It was an exciting, nail-biting, and in the end, heartbreaking day for Team USA on the ice. First, American sweetheart Gracie Gold failed to medal, landing in fourth place in the women's figure skating. She was in fourth after Wednesday's short program, but had a good chance to medal until a fall on a triple flip in her long program knocked her off the podium. Russia's Adelina Sotnikova took the gold with a 5-point lead over silver medalist Yuna Kim of South Korea. But now some American skating insiders are calling her surprising win into question. One of the 9 judges who picked the Russian skater over Kim is the wife of the Russian Figure Skating Federation president. Another was suspended for a year for trying to fix an event at the 1998 Winter Games. The controversy is fueling speculation of the inflated scores for Russians at these Sochi Games. After a scoreless start to the gold medal game in women's hockey, Canada rallied in the third period to come back from a 2-goal deficit and tie the game, scoring twice in the last 3.5 minutes. And a power play in overtime secured their win. The U.S. had beaten Canada 4 times in the road to the Olympics, but Canada beat the U.S. in preliminary play in Sochi. Team USA will come home with a silver medal. But it was a debut event where a U.S. athlete was able to shine. Maddie Bowman won gold in the women's free ski halfpipe. She came into the event as the favorite and completed the U.S. sweep of gold in the event after David Wise won for the men on Tuesday. Bowman didn't just win the event. She owned it, posting the 2 best scores of the night and completing a near-flawless winning run.
And in 5 seconds, the latest medal count out of Sochi. So if you don't want to see, just turn away from your TV set until the music ends. Wow. All right. And with the Olympics, there are always some funnier moments.
Yeah, and this morning's no exception, all thanks to a late-night funny man.
That's right. The mastermind behind the worst twerk fail ever video is at it again. Well, that mastermind is Jimmy Kimmel. This time he recruited an Olympian to help with his latest video called Epic Sochi Fail.
Oh my God.
In my hall. She added the caption, "I'm pretty sure this is a wolf wandering my hall in Sochi." Look at that. As you can see in the video, it appears a wolf is indeed roaming the halls where Hansen was staying. Well, the video has now been revealed as a prank for Jimmy Kimmel. And if that wasn't enough, check out this billboard. Looks like the stakes of today's U.S. versus Canada hockey game just got higher. If you can read that, the company Command Transportation put up a billboard in Chicago with a picture of a player from both teams saying, "Loser keeps Bieber." Come on, what about the Beliebers? Embattled singer Justin Bieber's from Canada, but he lives in LA and he may buy a home in Atlanta. So,
well, there has been, with all his legal troubles, there was all that
but look at that face.
Speculation that he might get deported, which apparently would not happen, even if he was convicted on everything.
I think he's only here on a work visa, so really.
Yeah.
So you're on Team Bieber?
No, I'm not. I just like to be contrary.
It is 5:29.
You are watching Today in St. Louis.
You're watching News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
We are following a developing story here in the Central West End. The woman who was gunned down here 2 years ago, another guilty plea expected in that case.
And a mother's grief, her daughter killed earlier this week. Now she's speaking out about her death.
Stealing from the dead.
Police now think drug dealers are taking from grave sites around the area.
Thousands are still without power in Missouri and in Illinois when it could be restored.
Welcome back. Our time right now is 5:30. I'm Jennifer Blome.
And I'm Pat McGonigal. Man, that was some wild weather that moved through last night. Doesn't matter where you were. Did you see? I mean, everywhere I went last night and this morning, branches. I mean, it wasn't the worst severe weather we've ever had, but enough to notice.
Really, as predicted, Scott, we had it like around 3:30.
Yeah, right on time. You know, it came through the metro area, started pushing in around 2:30 out to the west of St. Louis, moving through the metro area between 3 and 4:30, and then off to the east of St. Louis after that. And the winds kept going into the evening hours, and we told you those winds were going to be very gusty through the evening. Indeed, they were. Some places had wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, including officially at Lambert. Now, this morning, the winds have settled down. We're still gusting above 30, and temperatures have dropped back into the 30s. No 73 for our high today. We are looking at temperatures, though, this afternoon, still in the mid-50s. There'll be a breeze out of the west-southwest at 15 to 20, and with some gusts above 30 miles per hour this morning. A lot of sunshine on the way, though, as we head into this afternoon. Roads have been drying out after those showers and thunderstorms rolled through here yesterday. So, Sarah, how are things looking out there this morning?
We're off to a very nice start for this Friday, Scott. I know that towards the end of the work week, especially with some of the situations we've had out there on the roads, it's nice to see things off very calm and quiet out there. Take a look at some of these travel times. 70 eastbound, 40-64 eastbound, 270 westbound. You're looking at travel times under 21 minutes, which is very nice. Speeds a little slower than what we typically deal with in the mornings, 52, 57, 49 on 270 westbound. Those are usually around that 55 to 60 mile per hour mark, but as the volume starts to pick up, we can anticipate those speeds continuing to drop. Take a look at one of our trouble spots here, southbound 55 just north of Merrimack. You can see southbound traffic, no problems. If you're traveling up from Jefferson County this morning, definitely have a few friends out there on the roads with you, so just keep that in mind if you're heading out the door here shortly, but I'll see you in the next couple of minutes. Pat.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Well, a major development in the Megan Boken murder case.
Megan was the 23-year-old SLU grad killed during a robbery in 2012 in the Central West End.
Ryan Dean's live at the intersection of where this happened. And Ryan, we're hearing a guilty plea expected in this case?
Yes, this will be the second guilty plea in the case. The trigger man already pleaded guilty back in November, and now who police call the getaway driver, he is expected to plead guilty later today. His name is Jonathan Perkins. He is 20 years old from Olivet. He's charged with second-degree murder. He and his cousin were charged in the case Police say the two men came to the Central West End to rob someone. They targeted Megan Boken, who was sitting in her car talking on a cell phone. Boken was shot twice. The triggerman, Keith Esters, is serving a life sentence in prison. And back here live, you can see there's a makeshift memorial that still remains here. It used to have some teddy bears on it, but over the year and a half that since passed, some things have been taken down. But you still can see a picture here on the one of the poles here near the murder scene. We're told that the Boken family will be in court today to give victim statements. And of course, we'll have a reporter there and give you much more later on today. That is the very latest. I'm Ryan Dean, News Channel 5.
Well, the mother of a 10-year-old girl who was kidnapped and killed this week in Missouri is sharing her grief.
And at the same time, the man accused in her murder is expected to have his first court hearing this morning.
Nicole Burley is in the Breaking News Center with more on this case. Nicole?
Well, Pat and Jennifer, Stacey Owens is now sharing her grief about the murder of her daughter. 45-year-old Craig Michael Wood is scheduled to appear in court this morning, and this will be the middle school football coach's first court appearance. He's charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and armed criminal action for the shooting death of fourth grader Haley Owens. Police say she was snatched off the street in Springfield, Missouri, just blocks from her home. Several neighbors tried rescuing her, but they just couldn't catch up to the suspect. Meanwhile, Haley's mother, Stacey, is now still struggling to understand what happened to Haley.
Why are there people out there like that? I know there's people out there like that, but why do they go after little kids or anything like that? You know, I mean, mind their own business.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, my little girl was my life. She was my Twinkie.
Well, Haley's mom, Stacey, now says her 12-year-old son is currently staying with relatives, trying to work through his feelings about his sister's death. We will have more on Wood's hearing on News Channel 5 at noon.
Fort Leonard Wood will soon lose about 1,000 soldiers. A spokesman says the base will make the cuts by October of 2015. It's part of cuts that are being made throughout the military. Right now, about 7,000 uniformed personnel work at Fort Leonard Wood.
A woman's in the hospital after a pole lands on her car that was blown down by that severe weather yesterday. Fire Chief Bernie Siebold says a utility pole and a tree both fell down, blocking College Avenue near Springs Park. He says the driver was a 25-year-old woman. She was under the pole when it fell, or due to the low visibility during the storm, just slammed right into it. The chief in Alton says the driver lost control of the car, which went down a hill and hit a creek bed. The car's roof had to be cut out to get the driver out of the car.
She, I believe, had an angel with her today because she's very fortunate. The whole roof was caved in on the front seat of the vehicle.
Now, the chief says when they rescued her, she wasn't able to answer their questions. She is expected to be okay. And Jennifer, I'm sure you remember Chief Siebold was one of the brave firefighters, nice enough to make us gassed over the summer. And we saw firsthand the work that they do. And there you go, saving more lives.
Yes, they do. Well, we're also keeping a close eye on the progress Ameren is making to get power restored to thousands of people in our viewing area.
The lights have been turned back on for tens of thousands of customers so far, but there's still a lot more to go.
News Channel 5's Dana Dean is live in Florissant. Dana?
Ameren, Missouri will be here in Florissant to have a news conference at 10:30 to talk about all of the existing power outages. They will also be replacing 6 utility poles here in Florissant, including the one behind me. Check out that one, snapped in the wind. We're here at New Halls Ferry Road. Florissant is not the only place without power. Check out St. Peter's. This was St. Peter's last night. Wind caused branches and power lines to fall. Currently, 7,600 people are without power in Missouri, about 1,000 customers without power in Illinois, and Ameren, Missouri says outages are likely to remain throughout the day. Live in Florissant, I'm Dana Dean for News Channel 5.
Time right now is 5:36. Stealing from the dead.
There is no rest for those who have died after thieves are caught stealing from their gravesites.
And breaking overnight, has a deal been reached in the Ukraine between the government and protesters?
When Team USA wins, so can you. Earn bonus flex points every time Team USA wins a medal at the Winter Games. Go to...
Welcome back to a Friday morning. After a lot of wind, As you just heard Dana say, there's still some power outages around the area, not only from the winds with the thunderstorms yesterday, but just the basic gusty winds associated with that big, intense low pressure system, which is lifting through the Great Lakes and on into Canada. Still wrapping around some pretty gusty breezes for us. Clouds to the north and northeast of St. Louis will be pushing away. There's a little bit of snow as you head up towards Chicago this morning. It's not amounting to a lot. And we're looking at 37 degrees right now, but still have that wind out of the west at 24 miles per hour. It's been gusting to around 30, 35 miles per hour this morning. There's next to no chance for precipitation around St. Louis today. Should be bright and sunny starting in the mid-30s today. And then we're headed back into the mid-50s this afternoon. Winds will subside later today. Roads should be dry for your rush hour. Jennifer?
Well, desperate drug users are driving up thefts in Franklin County.
This is according to the sheriff, who says these crooks, if you can believe it, are stealing now from grave sites. Franklin County investigators first started getting these reports about people stealing graveside vases from a couple of Union cemeteries and then selling them for scrap. That was about 3 years ago. But investigators say it's getting worse. The drug users are now stealing the vases. They're taking scrap metal, jewelry, electronics, really anything of any value at all, usually to feed an addiction to heroin.
You're talking about going on to someone's ground. It's their last respects to their loved ones. You're removing something that's precious and special to them that they put there.
Now, Franklin County Sheriff Gary Tolke formed a special burglary task force last month to address the growing overall thefts. He identified 12 suspected criminals and helped recover some stolen goods. Nicole?
Well, the Ukrainian capital remains filled with protesters demanding a better democracy this morning. But there is some new hope for an end to all the violence. Danielle Lee is in Washington with reaction. And Danielle, there are now reports of a peace deal with protesters.
Nicole, that's true, and it's definitely still very much so in the developmental stage. What I can tell you right now is we are hearing from the Ukrainian president that he is promising to hold early elections to agree to reforms to the Constitution that would reduce his power. Opposition leaders want those early elections now. They want his resignation, and it's not clear how quickly those elections are going to come. Likely that they wouldn't be until late summer, early fall, so that is still being negotiated. That said, things are much subdued from where they were yesterday, which was the most violent day of what's been a 3-month-long uprising. Dozens of people had been killed, hundreds were injured. So things are getting better. Officials say this does appear to be a step in the right direction. But even though we hear of this tentative deal, it's very fragile and it could easily fall apart. As this violence continues, the Ukraine's credit rating has been downgraded, and the White House is threatening sanctions if the violence doesn't end. Live in Washington, I'm Danielle Lee. Nicole, back to you.
All right, Danielle Lee reporting live in Washington. Thank you. Scott and Sarah?
Now the time right now is 5:42, and Sarah's keeping an eye on that traffic this morning. We're watching that breeze. It's been pretty gusty around the St. Louis area, and I don't think that's going to cause any problems on the roads, is it, Sarah?
No, we're in great shape, Scott. So we're going to take a look around the viewing area, specifically at some speed sensors in St. Charles County and also on the Illinois side of the river when we come back. And happy Friday to you. It is 5:45 and we are off to a very nice start. If you're heading out the door here in the next couple of minutes, take a look at what's going on the Illinois side of the river. 55 is the average speed if you're crossing the Chain of Rocks Bridge right now. 61 as you approach the exchange. We all know that doesn't stay that way. So that will be something to think about here if you're traveling that direction. Take a peek here at 44 if you're traveling up from Pacific, out from Six Flags, up towards 270. Great shape. Our trouble spot here along Gravois and 270 still cruising right along, and 55 for those of you in Jefferson County. No major problems either, so that is a good thing. As for St. Charles this morning, you're waking up to speeds in 60 and 59 also on 70 and 40/64, traveling through the Chesterfield Valley accident free. So let's just hope that it stays that way to roll on with this Friday, Scott. And weather-wise, are we in for a good situation the rest of the day?
Oh, I think so. We're talking about temperatures that are going to be in the mid-50s. We'll take that. The front itself has pushed off to the east of St. Louis. You know, when that front came through yesterday afternoon, two things happened. One, you had the line of showers and thunderstorms that developed along it. And two, the winds really picked up and howled behind it. And that's because of that intense low-pressure system that is now working its way through the northern Great Lakes. And up there, it's cold enough where they're whipping around snow and they have blizzard conditions. Still strong thunderstorms here. They're sliding towards that Tallahassee area and headed towards Gainesville, Florida, even Atlanta this morning with some stronger showers and thunderstorms passing through. It's kind of a secondary cool front here just to our north. But the bottom line is, even though we're cooler today, it's not the big bulk of the cold air. That'll wait till next week. 33 degrees in Litchfield right now, as well as Pittsfield. Mexico, Missouri has dropped back to 28 degrees. Most of the metro area is still in the mid-30s, and as you head over towards Salem and Mount Vernon, Illinois, it's still 37. Everybody saw wind gusts pretty much between 45 and 50 miles per hour at least yesterday, and most of us in the metro area saw winds between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Some of us saw winds higher than 60 miles per hour yesterday. We still have the winds. Right now, a west wind at 24 miles per hour in St. Louis, which means we feel like we are in the 20s out there. So a breezy morning, 34 or so with lots of sunshine. The clouds that are just to our north and east are going to fade away. It's a bright afternoon. We're up into the mid-50s this afternoon for the high. It'll still be pretty breezy this morning with some stronger wind gusts, but that breeze does diminish as we head into this afternoon. Now, as we head into tonight, tomorrow night into Sunday, there's still some disturbances rippling through the region, and there'll be some clouds that come along with that, and maybe a couple of sprinkles. And as we head into tomorrow night into Sunday, it's not out of the question to see a couple of snowflakes mix in late tomorrow night and on into Sunday. Right now, we just don't see it as being a big deal. It might be enough to get the roads wet, maybe a little inconvenience, but other than that, not really a big deal. Temperatures, though, by the end of next week should be on the cold side again, well below average, down around 30 by Wednesday, 25 on Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Well, get ready for the ultimate girls' weekend.
That's right. We're talking fitness, fashion, food, and shopping. It's all happening at the St. Louis Working Women's Survival Show this weekend, today through Sunday. There'll be manis, petties, yoga, and other fun ways to promote your well-being. This year's show features a very special guest, Bob Harper from NBC's The Biggest Loser. He'll be a featured speaker.
And here's something fun you can do with your girlfriends. Men don't really get this, but it involves purse shopping.
Oh,
women get it.
We absolutely get it. Join the Lutheran Association for Special Education's Let's Get Personal event today. The silent auction features 150 to 200 new or gently used bags from designers like Coach, Prada, Nine West, and more. It's all happening at the Shrewsbury City Center, and all proceeds benefit children with special education needs in Lutheran schools. Tickets are $25, but if you're a student or teacher, they're only $20. So now something that, we can also include Pat in, because we kind of left him out of this. If you like wine, you might enjoy this. Grab your loved one, head to the Chocolate Wine Trail this Saturday and Sunday in Herman. You can warm up at the 7 stops along the wine trail, where there'll be a wine and chocolate pairing. Tickets are $30 a person. That does include a souvenir wine glass. Advanced purchase of tickets is required, though, so you can't just show up. And calling all polar bears. Always so fun to see these people. Time to step out of hibernation, plunge for a good cause. Tomorrow, there's a polar plunge in Maryland Heights where they'll jump into Creve Coeur Lake. All proceeds raised for this event go to the athletes of Special Olympics. The event starts at 2 p.m. You can sign up at somo.org/plunge. This year's goal is 700 brave plungers. And I also want to raise $125,000. Oh,
notice how fast they get out.
Oh,
too.
I know. That's one thing I just don't think I could ever do.
All very cool events, but I'll tell you what, where you will find me on Sunday, this is my favorite weekend of the year. It is Soups On at Merrimack Community College, St. Louis Community College in Kirkwood. Some of the best soups you will ever taste in your life.
Like you said, there was a Reuben soup.
There was one based on a Reuben,
unusual.
lobster bisque. These soups, this is a serious competition. It starts at 11 a.m., $10 for adults, $5 for kids 12 and under. And these soups just don't end. They just bring you an amazing soup and then a better soup.
Where is it again?
It is at Merrimack College, St. Louis Community College, the Merrimack campus, right there in Kirkwood. Doors open at 11. Don't eat all Saturday and Sunday.
Just stop eating now.
Go. I'm one of the judges, even though, I'm not a culinary expert. I like soup, so I keep going back.
So, how many do you have to taste?
Like 20.
So do you clear your palate?
Yeah, they do. And then there's desserts and our good little pal, Chef Elliot, he's going to be there as well. So.
How do you clear your palate? Is that like with beer or?
No, there's no beer. This is serious stuff. The people who put this together, they know what they're doing. They have a whole lineup, and there are real food critics who really, get into this, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So I'll be there on Sunday. But it is 5:51 right now, and ladies, listen up.
Every woman's best friend just got even better. The latest addition to Spanx.
Plus, you hate fighting with those parking meters? Well, worry no more. There's a new device that will help you fight back.
morning. I'm Andy Broadway, your morning commuter dude here on News Channel 5. Right now, I'm out in the Lake St. Louis, Wentzville area on I-64 eastbound. It's pretty light right now coming in from Wentzville, Lake St. Louis, heading downtown. So if you have that option of 64 or 70, you might want to take 64. I was on 70 earlier, and it was a lot heavier. That's a quick live look at the morning commute from my dash cam. I'm Andy Broadway for News Channel 5.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy. Well, it seems like there's an app for everything these days, of course, but this one is genuinely awesome.
It's called Fixed, and it will help fight that dreaded and costly parking ticket, or tickets. It's launching next week, but only in San Francisco to start with. Fixed will contest the ticket for smartphone users, including suggesting reasons the ticket might be invalid, gathering supporting evidence, and submitting the proper paperwork. If the driver beats the ticket, then they pay Fixed 25% of what the citation would have cost. If they can't get out of the ticket, Fixed doesn't charge drivers anything. The app's creators hope to expand into the top 100 U.S. cities over the next 18 months.
You know, the St. Louis treasurer, Tashara Jones, she told me here in St. Louis, if you get a ticket for a busted meter, take a picture. You know, gather evidence. You may be able to challenge it.
I was going to say, I think we know a good investor for that program.
Yes.
We won't mention any of our
anonymous. Well, listen up, ladies. Spanx, known for tightening tummies, is expanding in a very unlikely place.
Yeah, the shapewear company has become an empire, helping women worldwide tuck in their stomachs and firm up their thighs. Well, now Spanx is launching the Booty Bra. The product is said to help keep the posterior perky. Retails for just under $60 and was apparently developed after women complained their shapewear was flattening their backside.
And just for the record, they make Spanx for men, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about the Booty Bra, but
well,
there are Spanx for men.
The thing in my head is Baby Got Back, because the first thing I think of is that song. Traffic-wise, take a look at what's going on outside right now, 70 east of Air Flight. We don't have any accidents, no wrecks, no crashes, no delays, so that is a very nice way to start off your 6 o'clock morning commute if you're heading out the door here in the next couple of minutes.
So do they have those Spanx that like go up to maybe here so it makes your gut suck?
Yeah,
they have them for
they have
women.
everything.
I don't know
Okay.
about men.
They can.
All right, well, I'll have to look at that and see what I can find out. All right, let's show you a travel forecast. There's a few cancellations and delays here and there today. Basically, though, around here, it's looking pretty good. We got lots of sunshine on the way, still breezy in the 50s.
Okay, thanks a lot, Scott. Well, we have a lot coming up on Today in St. Louis at 6 a.m. Casey Nolan, as you know, is in Sochi, Russia. He has secured an interview with Gracie Gold.
And we'll be airing that at 6:31, so stay with us.